Alright, I think it's time to do some more mods to the Subaru. This is my 2024 Subaru WRX. Bought it here in late winter of 25 because, well, there were no 25s available at the time, so kind of a leftover, but really new purchase. But anyway, as you can see, it's got different wheels. These are the Sparco Terras. Put those on recently along with OEM style or OEM mud flaps specifically. Otherwise, currently still stock. Runs good. Did an intro video on this one, and then I did another video putting the wheels and the mud flaps on. Well, time to do something a little different now, and that is over here. We have some axle back mufflers and just a K&N filter. I would call this kind of like the first performance improvement, but to be honest, it may be more of a sound thing and less HPs, although maybe we'll get, who knows, one or two. But this is the Nameless Performance axle back exhaust with the 5-inch mufflers and the smallest, just I think like 3 or 3.5 inch tips. I would personally prefer if it was just a single 3 to 4 inch tip. I don't need the duals, but all the Subarus are duals, so whatever. And then over here is just literally a drop-in filter from K&N. So we're gonna mess around a little bit with the intake. Actually, not really much, but put that in, put the exhaust in. All this should be relatively quick. I think it's gonna, like I said, more of a sound thing than any big performance, but the plan ultimately is to do a little more with the car probably next year, at least when it comes to engine and horsepower and performance wise. So this will be a good base for now. But yeah, so Subaru WRX stock noise about to change slightly. I don't think it'll be a massive change, especially going with the 5-inch mufflers. I think it'll still be relatively quiet. And the factory exhaust is, well, to be honest, it's a little weird. I think when you're driving around, it's pretty quiet, pretty mild, although I believe it's a more or less a flow-through design. But I don't know, not 100% sure. So when you look at the muffler, you can kind of see straight through. So I don't know, but it's loud when you fire it up, and then after a bit it quiets down, and when you're driving around it is pretty quiet. So we'll do a fire up here. I don't think it's a cold start because I did run this a little while ago. So it'll be kind of like a warm start, so you won't get a big bark when you first fire it up, other than just what it naturally does. But anyway, let's do maybe do the intake first. That should be super quick. Then we'll do before and after with the exhaust install. It should literally be a few bolts, and then just kind of taking the mufflers in and out, and then maybe we'll take it for a drive. But realistically, let's see what it sounds like. Well, there's not much really to do under the hood, really, for the filter change. On the airbox here, there's just 2 clips. You just open them, and they give you just enough room to slide the filter in and out. So here's your stock paper filter that, yeah, we don't need that. And then this is the worst thing. This is a charcoal canister, well, not charcoal filter thing that it's glued in there. So I just took a screwdriver and ripped it out, and that thing, yeah, that thing's the worst. So that's gone. And then yeah, new K&N filter, install this, and pretty simple. Intake is done. It was really dirty under here, so I gave it a quick wipe down, but new filters installed, and it looks yeah, exactly the same. So it might sound a little cooler, it might flow a little better, especially up here at elevation. So there may be some minor benefits for doing this. A lot of things I read online were saying don't install a cold air intake until you get the car tuned, which I don't exactly know why. I've put cold air intakes, whether it be K&N or ZZP or other brands or my own homemade versions, on tons of cars over the years, and the vast majority of them have never been tuned, and it's always seemed like the car's more than able to adjust. But I don't know. So for now, we're just going with this, and then we'll well, yeah, I think it's time to install that. All right, coming around to the back of the car here, and oh look, yep, stock exhaust is already off. It's super easy. It's just literally two bolts on either side, and you kind of twist off the exhaust itself with the hangers, and yeah, they're off. They're not terribly heavy considering how much bigger they are than the ones we're putting on. We'll compare here in a second, but I figured, you know, right now there's no exhaust on here. Well, no mufflers, so let's see what it sounds like with just straight exhaust. Well, to be honest, that sounded pretty good. So who knows? We'll see. Maybe if I don't like these over the long term, maybe we'll go with some, I don't know, straight through design, because that wasn't terribly loud. And I mean, who knows how droney it would be, but anyway. And they weren't, well, you can sort of see they were directed to the side and kind of up too, so who knows. But surprisingly, that wasn't too bad. So anyway, so stock exhaust, new exhaust. And one thing I should point out is the stock exhaust is not, it's heavier, but it's not a lot heavier than these, just because I'm sure this is better quality material. That's just a big, mostly empty muffler. So yeah, you're saving some weight, but honestly, not that much. So anyway, one thing I should point out is on these, oh man, these Nameless Performance mufflers, it took 10 weeks to get these things. From when I ordered them to when they finally delivered them. So I thought that was kind of ridiculous. Quality looks good, but my gosh, you think when you order something you're going to get it quick, but no, almost 2.5 months until they finally showed up. But anyway, like I said, 5-inch muffler, the smallest, like maybe 3.5-inch tip. I did think about, and still might, painting these. We'll see in a minute, but I think they do stick out a little bit, and there's like no shiny anything on this car really. So I was thinking about painting them black. They should go on really easy, so see how it looks, see if I like them, and ultimately I might still paint them, but for now let's get them on here. Oh, and I should point out, I did do a before stock exhaust kind of shot here to see what it sounds like, and then this open one, and then I have we'll do an after with this, so we can do a direct before and after comparison, see what they sound like. But I was just curious of what the open exhaust sounded like. And just like that, they're on. Just as easy as taking the old ones off. The new ones go on with a couple bolts, and just kind of twist them in the hangers, and you're good to go. So initial thoughts here, the tips definitely stick out further. You can see, kind of looking straight down, if anything, the inner tip almost sticks out a little too much, but whatever. So they tip out further. They do seem to be mostly even. I'm looking, let's see. Driver's side, the inner tip's just to the edge. Passenger side, maybe a hair further, but pretty close. They do move a little bit, obviously, in the hangers, but another thing is you can see they're slightly twisted. They're not flush. I guess you could say the outermost tip is a little higher on either side. And if I can get down here, you can see there's not much going on underneath now that you have a tiny little muffler where the big muffler used to be. So yeah, I think this rain's annoying, but whatever. If I didn't say, it's of course raining. But yeah, let's get it down off here, fire it up, and let's do a before and after. Well, the weather did not cooperate, so I was able to do a little bit of driving here, but not really get on it at all to see any kind of, you know, sound changes when you're really driving. But it is louder. It does sound good. I gotta say, quality of the exhaust looks good. What else? The time, you know, it took like 10 weeks to get here, and that was kind of, you know, that was disappointing. But otherwise, fit and finish, install, everything went well. Intake, I don't know, it's raining, so you can't really hear anything, but I mean, that's obviously super easy, sticking a filter in there. But yeah, overall I think it went well. We'll get up on the highway, see if, you know, if it's droney or not. I doubt it. I think you could probably almost get away with just installing an open exhaust or straight pipes out the back, and it would still be pretty good. But yeah, I think at this point that's going to be it for now. So thanks for watching. See you in the next one.